You're crazy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most special episode of the Viall Files, Going Deeper edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by Amanda and Allie. Did you switch? You did switch.
We did swap.
Yeah.
Makes it new studio, new us.
You have feelings about it?
Mm-hmm. I like my old chair, but I'm a team player.
Okay, the way you are airing this as if you did not push back at all.
I'm just having fun with this. It's fine. But
Allie,
I said I'm not thrilled by
I
it.
served my time in the big head seat.
what do you mean? You both look great.
It is like there is a subtle difference where
You asked politely. You also voiced that it wasn't a big deal, but it was clear Allie was not thrilled.
Yeah, thank you.
we're taking turns. Kindergarten, baby.
What
do you mean by big head seat?
Let me know down in the comments below how you like my head.
And it's not. It's just there's one person who's slightly closer angled
Did
towards
someone
the camera.
comment about your head?
No, they didn't. It's just like the way you're turned. Like I have very fine hair. Allie has a gorgeous, luscious head of hair, and like sometimes when I turn my head to look at her, like when you're in that seat, you are just a lot more side profile-y, and also you're like slightly like my head looked bigger to me.
Okay.
So, for anybody listening,
Allie,
I'm a diva.
Thank you for
Cats
being
out of the bag.
such a team player.
Thank you.
Well, today is a very special episode because my fiancée, Natalie, is with us to talk about our engagement. And this being a relationship-driven podcast, it made sense, obviously. And, I think we just kind of want to share it with everyone. I know we talked about this on our freestyle episode on Tuesday, but this is kind of a new chapter for the Viall Files. It's a new studio. It's our studio. We are fully producing this show on our own, which is exciting, which we kind of already were doing on a lot of ways, but we really have taken ownership, and Allie and Amanda are now full-time employees.
And Nick is giving us healthcare.
And I'm giving you guys healthcare. I'm a very adulting. We have Derek with us, our producer, who over time I'm sure you'll get to know. He's a gem. But for me, this has been such a kind of pivotal time in my life with me proposing and this studio, and I'm so obviously grateful for all the people listening. I don't think of this as just a show anymore. This is my life. This is my career. It's such an important thing to me, and I just wanted to share. We Natalie and I just wanted to share kind of our story with you guys, and we're so grateful for all the kind messages and the people who have sent us notes and who enjoy it, or if it, whatever it brings you, maybe just an outlet or something to do. If it brings you any happiness, great. We're so just thankful. And I guess we just wanted to share our story and talk about it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So yeah,
it's like I feel like it's been big startup energy, just getting everything set up, and it's like the listeners are the earliest investors, and it's very cool that we're at this like new juncture, and it's so much because like there's a very cool community of people out there.
Yeah.
Picking up what we're putting down.
I don't want to cry because I've already did that in this episode, but yeah, I'm really just so grateful for everyone who's ever listened, and this show is my life, and it means so much to me, and our ability to talk to you guys and having met so many people, it's so just wonderful. And speaking of new kind of next step in our journey on the Viall Files, as we mentioned before on Freestyle, tonight is the premiere of Better Date Than Never. That is a live show that will be on AMP 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. It's all about dating. We will be giving people dating advice, getting ready for dates. We'll be helping people break down the dates that they just had, talking next steps, dating app advice. It's interactive. It's live. We'll allow some of you to also chime in and give your feedback as well. So I hope you all join. It's going to be a ton of fun. Just make sure you download the AMP app If you have an iPhone, you have to have an iPhone to listen to the show. We may, in the future, figure out a way for people to listen to the show if they can't make the live, but that's down the road, and we'll figure out a way for you guys. Maybe it's premium content or something like that. But I hope you guys check it out. It's going to be a ton of fun, a lot of fun. And it's also, we want it to be kind of a more intimate way for allow you guys to kind of, hang out with us a little bit more, again, live. So we'll probably be just like, there's no edit or anything like that. We'll just off the cuff, and I hope you guys enjoy that type of energy.
And can I just say, Allie, 2 drinks in, incredibly fun. Even though,
Well,
like,
I'm not gonna deny it.
Allie is like one of the most fun people to like have a cocktail with, and so that's exactly
Also,
what this
most
will
likely
be.
to get into a fight.
Okay,
sure.
well, I guess
She
we'll
gets
see what
protected.
happens.
Sure.
Yeah.
Think of it like a pregame with your close friends before you do the big scary date thing or whatever else it is.
And then we got Ariana from Vanderpump helping us break down episode 1 of Zach's season. We have Jim Jeffries helping us break down episode 2. We have the Lautners, Taylor and Taylor Lautner, not next week on Going Deeper, but the week after. Next week guest TBD. We're kind of deciding which
got a lot of
direction we want to
moving
go. We got
pieces.
some moving pieces. We always want to bring you the most relevant show. So yeah, I think that's all we're really getting to. Other than I just want to, I'm losing steam on Prince Harry. I
don't think you're the only one.
I'm getting sick of him.
I don't think you're
He's
the only
getting
one.
whiny.
Yeah.
It's just.
You know what I wanted to bring up to you? I saw a TikTok. Someone stitched it together because obviously, his book Spare came out, and I believe he also read the audiobook. And someone found a clip of Meghan showing someone her wedding dress. And she was saying, oh, did you look underneath the skirt? There's a little piece of blue fabric. It was my something blue. It's a swatch of fabric from the dress I wore on our first date. And then the TikTok immediately went to the audiobook of Spare, where he's talking about how he was running late for their first date that they talked about in the documentary. And he was saying, I walked in and she was there in a black sweater and jeans and heels. So which is it?
Yeah.
A blue dress or a black sweater?
They're out there just like spilling their
Was it a
tea,
swatch of denim?
And it's
Yeah,
a
that's
he.
what I was thinking.
But she said dress.
It's a he said, they said kind of situation. And then there was this one interview that they were asking about the comments he made, like the allegations of the racist comments that his family made. And he was like, well, I didn't say they made racist comments. He said the press said that. But wasn't he saying that like his family basically runs the press? And I don't know what was said because I wasn't there. But if his family in any way like had a discussion about the skin color of his unborn child, that sounds fucking racist. And it was like he seemed to be like walking back on those comments. And it was just like, wait, well,
I think he was just trying to be technical because, again, like he's smart. He knows how things read. And I think he was just trying to really rely on the fact that the quote, my family is racist, never came out of his mouth. Did he supply evidence in which we can conclude that? Yes, but he never fully said that.
oh, come on, Harry.
I know, but I think he's just really leaning on the technical. And he doesn't want the
That's
headline
obnoxious.
to say Prince Harry calls his family racist.
Are we not going to talk about the part of his book where he says he put on the cream that smells like his mom, like that reminds him of his mom on his frostbitten dick?
Oh,
That's weird.
yeah.
And he said, I could feel her in the room.
That's weird.
He had a frostbitten dick for their wedding,
And
right?
I'm very-
for William and Kate's.
And I'm like a very sentimental person. I totally get like this sensory stuff of like it reminds you of your mom.
But on your pee-pee?
Not on the dick.
Not on your pee-pee.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's just like, yeah, but I get the whole technical, but it's just like, I watched my friend slash someone's throat. And they're like, oh, your friend's a murderer. I did not say my friend was a murderer. I just said
Yeah.
I saw them slit someone's throat.
But there is a little bit of nuance in that.
Yeah.
I'm saying if I was going to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, but you're losing me, I guess. But I will say I saw a TikTok because I want to give Megan some props. She's on TikTok. I want to give it's Stella Mags. Stella Magz is her account. I don't know. She's on TikTok. Said that her husband worked on the production of Suits, and she just talks about how she really trusts. She used the word character, which matters to me. I'm a character guy. I think too much in this world we like or dislike people based off of what they believe. more than what their character is. And I think character is far more important because beliefs can change and evolve, but that's a discussion for another day. But and whether her husband has good character or bad character, she talked how her husband had not one bad thing to say about Meghan, and that she was incredibly kind and down to earth and respectful to everyone in the set of Suits. So I don't know. I think stories like that are important and don't often get told. And this is first-hand account of someone just observed Meghan Markle when she worked on Suits. So I don't think you're hearing a lot of those types of sentiments regarding Meghan Markle in terms of like her graciousness and how she treats kind of everyone around her. And because I think it sounds like fair or unfair, people are often talking about, I've seen the word narcissist thrown around, or she thinks she's better than, other people, et cetera, et cetera. And this seems to be a eyewitness account of quite the opposite. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I still think they should just shut the fuck up.
I'm hopeful that they will. Like I've said in our previous discussions, we did the Netflix documentary. The book is out. He did 60 Minutes. He did his like whole little press tour. I'm hopeful that we might have exhausted all of our options.
I don't know.
They could always prove me wrong.
Harry's getting whiny to me. He's coming across as just a privileged prince, and who's just like mad he's not king.
I don't think he's mad that he's not king.
That's how I'm getting a different. That's the impression I'm getting. I'm just one man. I don't know, but
I'm just a man.
just a man.
I'm just a man.
Anyway, be sure to check out our AMP show, Better Date Than Never tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Get ready for my wonderful fiancée, Natalie. And we have an amazing also texting office hour at the end of this episode. So get ready for that. Happens to be wedding themed.
Yeah, some wedding dress drama and some uninviting that might be on the table. So very juicy.
All right. Well, here we go.
I feel like now that it's the new year, I'm making it a goal to invest more in my lifestyle and invest more in myself and not just rush out the door or after I shower, just like get straight into bed. And I think skincare is one of the things that I'm trying to work on because you just feel so good about yourself when you have a full regimen, you have a routine, your face is glowing. No more dry skin for me in 2023.
New year, new you, new products.
Amen.
If I had a mother-in-law, I would get her Osea. Like that is how high quality, nice, and aesthetically pleasing I think these products are. They're also, I personally love them. The Ocean Cleanser I really like because it's like very gentle. I have like combo oily skin. And I just think it does a great job of like kind of like brightening, but it also cleans in the way that like the oily sections do be needing some cleaning.
Yeah.
They also have they have a body oil that is so famous. They've got serums, all of their products, super high quality, natural ingredients, none of the toxic bad stuff, a really solid brand.
Also, you don't look this good without moisturizing your face.
And so if you're trying to get pretty good skincare,
now is the time to start making small changes that have a big impact, like making a habit of using clean, vegan skincare products on your face and body. And Osea has all the goodies that you could want and need in that department. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code VIALLFILES. That's Viall Files at OseaMalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. So head to OSEAMalibu.com. That's OseaMalibu.com. And use code VIALLFILES. That's Viall Files for 10% off. Hello, fiancé.
Say it again.
Hello, fiancé.
One more time.
Hello, fiancé.
Yeah. Hi, fiance.
How's it going?
People are sick of us already. Disgusted. Ellie and Amanda are puking everywhere.
absolutely not.
Welcome to you've been on the podcast. Well, you've been on a couple of recaps, but now going deeper, which is reserved for
Fiance.
the elites. No.
Now that your relationship has gone deeper.
Yeah. Now that the
Now I can
relationship
go
has
deeper.
gone deeper, here you are. I mean, we figured we'd just, I guess, talk about the proposal. Yeah, it's the engagement. The proposal. Is it the proposal episode? The engagement episode?
Engagement.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's engagement.
Let's start at the beginning.
Nick was born.
5 school and 27 years ago.
I've been holding off on answering some of Natalie's questions for the show.
Oh. I feel like maybe we start with just like when you decided you wanted to do this and what were your first steps? Who were the first people you talked to?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I was made aware of the plan
What do you mean?
to go to a Tom Hanks event, it was like way after a lot of stuff had already been done.
I mean, we, I guess, started talking about, this is a relationship podcast, as you may know. So maybe we should talk about just kind of how we talked about like our relationship, like how we got to the point in which we felt comfortable enough to like, when we both knew we were ready for a proposal. Because like, we definitely talked a lot about it. Like it wasn't one, like, you know, for me, I think everyone's different in terms of like how they go about getting engaged, how they go about like, do they ring shop together? Is it more of a like, you know it's coming, or is it a total surprise? You know, I didn't want it to be a total surprise in a sense. Like I wanted us to be on the same page. But once I knew we were ready, then I wanted it to be a surprise. Like I wanted to not have her like wake up and know that like today's the day I'm getting engaged type of thing. So yeah, we talked a lot about it. I mean, I think we started talking about it, I think the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
How did it first come up? Like who kind of breached the topic? Do you remember?
I mean, I have just always been annoying in the sense that like, even when we weren't talking about, like, obviously I moved out here, we lived together, like our plan was to spend the rest of our lives together, whether we had talked about it or not. And so I would like send him TikToks of like rings and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like did not mean to send that to you. Just like disregard. And proposal videos or whatever. So he obviously knew that I was there. And then I think you brought it up on like a walk one day or in our backyard. And you were like, okay, don't think too much into this. But
You're
you were
repeating
saying
what I
this
said
to me.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're like, don't think too much into this, but let's talk about some things if we were to get married.
Just kind of sprinkling in some things. And there was a time where Natalie asked, like, is this too much? Am I being...
I said, do I cross the line?
Yeah.
And he said, you walk the line.
Yeah.
You don't cross it.
Like, I didn't, she didn't want to be pushy about it. And like, but she was just kind of letting me know. Like, a big part of our relationship is always, like, I think we like to set each other up for success. We like to communicate the things that we need in our relationships, whether it's love languages, whether it's when we're upset, like what do we need to resolve the conflict, and then like what, like, just the day-to-day stuff. And then when it comes to taking the next step in our relationship, like we're just big on that communications. We were talking about, like I said in the beginning of last January, and neither of us necessarily thought that like we were going to get proposed in like the early last year.
Yeah.
Get proposed.
Get proposed to.
Get
I didn't think
engaged.
either of us...
Get engaged.
You proposed.
Yeah, I didn't think either of us were expecting us to get engaged like early last year, but it was just like we just started slowly talking about it, and then we started slowly talking about, like kind of like the unsexy.
Like the logistics.
Would you want to live here for the rest of your
Yeah,
life?
like
Would you want like
money.
Wait, what were the
and-
answers to those questions? Do you?
Well, I mean, I think we're both from. She's from the South. I'm from the Midwest. I've made a home here. We've made a home here, and like so when that I think Natalie can answer, but like for herself. But when we first started talking about that conversation, Natalie was living here for like a year, and she had made some friends, but not a ton of friends. I had been here for 6.5, 7 years, and I bought a home. And now, granted, Natalie moved in, and now, it feels like more our home, and things like that. So, for me and for us, like we've definitely built a home here, and I think we feel very grateful that we are currently in a position to, maybe consider buying property in other parts of the country. It might allow us to be closer to family, at least different parts of the year and things like that. But I don't think we have any immediate plans to move or anything like that. So yeah. And then, we started talking about money and just logistical stuff like that, just to make sure we were on the same page, because up until that point, it was just, kind of honeymoon type conversations.
And I feel like those are the conversations that most people are so scared to have, and they're like, let's just like not talk about it. Like we'll just get to it later.
Yeah.
And then it causes problems in the actual marriage. So I feel like we are so blessed to have that great communication to be able to just be like, okay, we do need to talk about this. Let's get it out of the way.
And then when we went to Europe last summer, you were wondering if it was going to happen. And so she kind of like checked in. And I was like, yeah, no, don't worry. It's not happening. I think she...
You also, though, set her up for failure because you were saying things like, make sure you get your nails done.
You're also going to Paris.
Yeah.
Like absolute Paris.
But also so many people, not even just like strangers on the internet, but so many of my close friends or even like distant family would be like, oh my gosh, like this would be the perfect place to get engaged. He's totally going to propose. And I was like, I don't know if like, wait, are you? Like, I feel like I needed some sort of like mental preparedness.
It sounds like the internet psyched you out.
Psyched me out.
Because
sure.
at that point, I think before that, all Natalie communicated to me with regards to an engagement, she wanted two things. She wanted to celebrate it with family and friends afterwards, and she wanted it documented. You know, she wanted to have me have, you know, we're lucky enough to have some amazing photographers and videographer friends.
Shout out Sarah, Jason.
Shout out to Sarah Partain and
Jason Russ.
And we're very lucky that way. So, you know, she wanted to document it. So those were the only two kind of like asks that she had. And the rest was just kind of up to me. And so, yeah, I was when she brought that up, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not throwing a party in Paris with you.
Yeah.
You know,
who did you fly out here?
Who did you fly out here?
Like,
you know, I had thought about, we had met in New York. We both love New York. New York is very special to us. It's like, it just really is a special place for us, mostly because like we met there and we just love the city. And I had definitely thought about possibly figuring out a way to propose
really?
Like in New York. Yeah. But like I figured that might make it harder to hide just because like, hey, we're going to New York for something.
Yeah.
And then just, you know, we certainly have plenty of friends in New York, but we have more out here. And, you know, it's just like venue wise, like where would we throw a party? It added to the complications of it all. So I pretty much resided to doing it in
but you did it in Venice, which is where Nick used to live when I first started to visit him. It was like in his apartment in Venice. So we have so many memories in Venice.
That's true. That was
so you did.
That was a kind of a beautiful coincidence, though.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I went to dinner.
It was 100% intentional.
I went to dinner with my two best friends, Keaton and Destiny, in Venice, like the beginning of January probably. And it was like one block up from Nick's old apartment. So I was like, oh my gosh, wait, drive over here. And we like drive past his apartment. I'm like, he used to park right there. I like sent Nick a photo and Keaton was like, what if he proposes in this parking lot? And I was like, honestly?
Yeah, it's like we could go visit, but
yeah.
Like, no. So I guess back to the actual proposal. So like it was, I think I mentioned this in the Ask Nick, but I think like timing wise, there was too much at the end of the year where I was just like, I didn't feel like, there was a part of me that wanted to do it in 2022, you know, but it just felt like too crammed with other things going on. It felt like, I don't know.
Was there a specific moment or memory that you have with Natalie where you were like, I need to wife her now? Like this is becoming incredibly urgent.
No, not really. I mean, like I knew I wanted to propose to her. I mean, forever ago.
You know how most people are like, I knew the moment we met. Not this one.
No. But I mean, I could have proposed to her early 2022 or before. Like I remember it was like an Instagram post at the end of
got big plans for you in 2022.
Thank you, Allie. Yeah. And like literally, as you know, I did it obviously to like
it's right in there.
Get those comments and those likes, but also like I meant it. Like there was this idea, like we're definitely gonna get engaged this year, you know, and I assumed it would be towards the end of the year, and
but also I think like with your book coming out, it was so much let's not take away from this massive moment in your life and like try and one up it with a proposal. It was like let's give your book.
I was very much thinking about doing it around then, around the book, and then I was talking to my friend Megan, who's also my publicist, but friend first. And it just felt like I didn't want it to seem like I was capitalizing on my engagement for the book or anything like that. It just felt like it would be too intertwined. And so once I decided that, it kind of got pushed towards the end of the year. And I, like, you know, the summer was busy and we were traveling and I didn't want to do it while we were traveling. And then my next thought was to do it in the fall, but then like, oh, I got the book coming out.
Oh, I also said I don't want it on a holiday. Like I did not want like Happy Thanksgiving, pass the turkey. Oh, will you marry me? Like I did not want that. I didn't want.
We
Merry
were on
Christmas.
the same page about that. No offense to anyone else who's gotten engaged on a holiday.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Just
amazing.
Not for us. And so so like that, you know, timing wise, it just. Then I was just like, okay, towards the end of the year, and then it's like, well, the holidays are coming up, so it's just like I don't want to sandwich it in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and like everyone in the world is like, you know, focused on the holidays and family and things like that. And so I started like looking at rings at the end of the year. And so I'm very lucky that my cousin by marriage, but my cousin, Mary Parker, who ironically has my mom's maiden name.
I know that is, I love Mary,
So
but yeah, you could have been Nick Parker.
I know.
Ugh.
I know.
Natalie Parker. Strong.
Yeah.
If I was Nick Parker, I'd always introduce myself first and last name.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not. And so she works for Brilliant Earth, and so Natalie and Mary have become friends and fast friends.
I talked to Mary about your ring at your birthday party. Like
Someone
in
else
August.
told me that, and I was like, "This little bitch." She was just going around like behind, being like,
"Oh no! I
Nick's
brought
ring
it up to
shopping.
Mary, like because she was like, "Oh, I'm, you know, we're Nick's cousins," and I was like, "The jeweler." I was like, "Is it
Tell
you?"
me everything.
But
I was like, "Let's gab."
Mary and Natalie became friends. Well, was it their wedding?
Yeah, that was the first time I met her, but we immediately clicked. We're very similar.
they clicked very quickly. So Mary kind of was immediately like asking questions, and she talked about Brilliant Earth and how they focus on conscious diamonds and they do beautiful work. And so from that moment on with Mary, I was just like, I'm gonna go with Brilliant Earth, and they do such an amazing job. And honestly, like for any guys listening or the ladies out there, it was a really great experience. Like they really made me feel like it was very intimate and the whole shopping experience and just going through it. It was really quite lovely. And so I started doing that in October, which she's really nosy, which is obviously frustrating because I also I do not like lying to her at all. And I just am very uncomfortable with it. Like there was one time, I was getting your birthday gift, but no, wait, that's not true. Remember that time I called you and I was like, hey, I'm not where I am. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were getting my birthday gift.
That was the first time I looked at rings. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, so you lied to me twice?
Yeah. So at first, like the Brilliant Earth, they have one location in West Hollywood. Like Natalie works in Beverly Hills, and I was just like, what if she sees? Like she texts me, she's like, what are you
I called
up to?
him because I saw something, and I was still at work. I was like gonna tell him when I was coming home or something. He declined it and texted me. He was like, still recording, call you later. So I was like, oh, he's still recording.
And I was like in the parking lot of Brilliant Earth, and I just was like, I kind of panicked, and I was like. And then I got done, and I was like, well, I also like, I don't lie to her. And so like, I'm not a good liar. And so I was just like, this might sound fishy. So I was just like, hey, I'm sorry I lied to you. I was actually like getting your gift for your birthday. And I don't know why I lied type of thing, but just in case she like saw me or a friend saw me, I just kind of panicked. But that was the first time I looked at rings. Yeah. So I looked at rings then. That was like early August. And then
really early because I wanted the gifts.
Yeah, and I kind of just went like I wanted to start looking. It wasn't like, hey, I'm getting engaged immediately, but I wanted to take my time looking at rings and things like that. And again, like Natalie sets me up for success. Like I didn't really have to do a ton when it came to like picking it out. Like Mary knew. I had talked to Mary a lot and told her the shape that I wanted. It was very much like, which one does she like? You know.
All I told her, all I cared about was that it was gold, like had a gold band and was an elongated cushion. That's like all I wanted.
Yeah.
And then Nick and Mary did the rest. What should I just hold? Should I just be like this the whole time?
What do you mean? Oh. And then I kind of like, then in October, Mary flew back out. She lives in San Francisco. Because the first time I looked at rings, it wasn't with Mary. It was with another wonderful woman who works at Brilliant Earth. And then Mary flew in.
Where was I?
The second time?
Yeah.
I think you were at work or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know what I told you where I was. It was I do not like lying to her. I'm very uncomfortable with it.
As you should be.
Yeah. And so when we finalized the ring, that's when like Mary and I set a date. And then so Natalie's going to Paris tonight, actually. So when you listen to this, she'll be in Paris. But so she's going to Paris with some friends. Her friend Destiny works for Nemeas, and they're in Men's Fashion Week. And since we're working hard on our new studio, I couldn't make it with work, so she's taking a girls' trip. Natalie kind of joked about getting engaged before she goes. Like, before I go to Paris, I would like to have a big rock on my finger. And she like said it in a very playful, kind of joking way, kind of checking in. But I thought to myself, actually, that sounds like a pretty good idea. And it was just like, do I want to do it before or after? And I thought, well, I want to do it before because I assumed, and I'm curious what you're going to say because I never asked you. I assume that because like, we have this new studio that's taking up a ton of our time and work, and she's going to Paris, and I'll be, alone for a week. So I thought she, in her back of her mind, was thinking, I bet he starts planning and the studio will be done. I'm going to go to Paris. And I thought you assumed that I would use that week to kind of plan the proposal, and then I would do it sometime after Paris rather than before. So because of that, I wanted to do it before.
To throw me off.
To throw you off a little bit was kind of my plan.
Is that accurate? Had you thought about that?
Not really. I feel like when I told you that I was like, would love to be engaged before Paris, I felt like you were like, you're heard. Like, I hear you. And I was like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I feel like I just like, but it kept getting closer and closer. And I was really sad because I leave tonight, and I'm on such a high with Nick, obviously, after like this moment that I feel I was like so in love with you, so I like don't really want to leave. And so I feel like maybe it would have been,
I should have waited.
No, oh my God, no. No, I'm so happy. But I just am like sad to leave.
I'm sad, maybe not sad you're gonna go too. But.
Right.
I feel like we should get into like the high, like the day itself.
Yeah.
Like walk us through what was going on there, especially from your perspective, Natalie.
So like 2 weeks before it happened, he was here at the studio and he texted me this flyer of The Man Named Otto screening with Tom Hanks. And it was like 6:30 cocktail party, 7:30 this, 7:45 Q&A with Tom Hanks.
Thank you, Canva Pro.
Yeah, Canva.
Shout out.
So he sent it to me and said, Megan, who's his publicist, thinks we should really go to this. And I was just like, okay, like whatever.
But that happens. Like,
sure.
We get invited to a lot of different things. And sometimes it's like, Megan will often be like, if you want to go, go. But like, no big deal if you miss it. And there are other things that she'll say, this is pretty cool. There's, certain type of people are going.
Networking.
You might know people. Like, this might be worth your time. And so I had Megan kind of text Natalie and kind of insist, because my whole idea of even faking an event was I wanted her to get glam. Like, I knew she wanted to look nice and special. And like, sometimes you do these events, and it's like, I'm always telling her, like, it's not worth it. Like, glam isn't cheap. And so like, if I kind of like, what, once in a while I'll treat Natalie, but for the most part, if Natalie wants to get glam, like,
I pay for it.
It's like on Natalie, so it's like, and so I'm always like, which one, like, just, you don't have to do it. We don't have to get glammed every single time. It's just like not worth it. But so this one, like, I wanted her to get glam and I wanted her to look her best. So I had to figure out how to like make sure she got glammed, and like it had to be some sort of like special event. And so
like Megan is pretty good about being honest with those things. And so I texted Nick back and was like, okay, like, sure, I'm down. Like, should I get glam? And he said, ask Megan. And we had another event that week that we were possibly going to go to. And so I was going to get glam for the both of them. And I was like, that is an expensive week. Like, I'm probably just going to do glam for the first one. And then for this man named Auto Screening, I'll just have my friend who cuts my hair, Glenn Ellis. I was like, I'll just have him curl it in the morning. And then I'll do my own makeup. Like, not worried about it. She's like, no. I think you should really get glam for both. Like this second one, this man named Otto, is so intimate. It's super like exclusive. We're gonna push these photos everywhere. Like truly, I think
Hanks
you need.
Is gonna be there.
Tom Hanks is gonna be there. Like you really need to get glam for this. I'm like, okay, but like I don't want to pay for it. She was like, just invoice Nick. Like Nick will pay for it. I'm like,
and then I was
like,
well, I'll pay for half. I mean, I'll pay for one of them, is what I said. Which was like, you pay for this other one, I'll cover this other one. So I was like, oh. The whole time.
You were very casual. You said that when you were here. Like this conversation happened. Natalie was in studio and she was like, "Yeah, but Megan's saying I need glam." Like da da da. And because you guys were debating if you were going to get invited to this thing on Tuesday, and Nick just like off the cuff, like, and I'd watched him have conversation and phone call after phone call about all of this, and it was so like just casual. He's like, "If we get invited to both, I'll pay for one of them." And he kind of just like walked away. And I was like, "You sneaky man."
Yeah, I was trying to be very like nonchalant.
I'm like clacking at my computer. I'm like,
yeah, we were both like,
yeah. And so at that point, so like that was the whole idea of the event. And then I had a ton of help. I mean, like Megan, Keaton, her friend Destiny, like they helped. I mean, I was really lucky to have
Keaton's mom.
A ton of help. Keaton's mom.
Yeah, Miss Shauna Collins.
Yeah.
It's not her job. Like she definitely does not do party planning as her job. She just loves it, and
that
she's
shocks
so
me.
good at it.
She's so good at
so
it.
It's
good.
insane.
A
Yeah.
gift.
So I was
Crazy.
very lucky to have a lot of people like help me set up the day, just because we have been working so hard at the studio. I was just very lucky, and so Megan reached like venue wise. That's how Venice. We were looking at different places, and then Megan found creative studios in Venice. And they were amazing. It's like this kind of warehousey art gallery place, and they were so great. They helped set up the whole thing,
they
helped facilitate all the things that we needed. They were amazing. And so, I mean, if you're ever hosting an event somewhere in Venice or in LA, like think of creative studios in Venice. Like I'm really like, I'm so grateful for all the people who helped, and it was amazing. And then Victoria and Greg kind of like, and so I started inviting people.
Yeah.
And so I, this is like how many, I was like, it was, and I told people one at a time. Like, it wasn't like, sometimes it's like, hey, here's an invite, tell people. It was like, I'm telling you only, don't tell anyone. So and that kind of worked out, because everyone was like, I won't say anything, because I didn't want people to start, oh, you're going, oh, so-and-so, and kind of thinking who else is going. And then like, I didn't want someone to find out who wasn't invited, or or just people, because I really did not want Natalie to find out. And so I started doing that, and then like Greg and Victoria, it was like, obviously Natalie and Victoria are very close, and Greg and Victoria have become close friends as a couple, and it was like, oh, it makes sense, they often get invited to these types of events. So it was like, how do I distract Natalie? How do I don't want her to show up to this event and her ever be like, this is weird. Like, this isn't a premiere. So we had extras. Shout out to Victor, who's done so much. My friend Victor also hired some extras and brought some extras. So when we showed up to this event, like, they were already in line, because it was like, and I told Natalie, like, we had Megan tell Natalie it was like this immersive experience, so people were going to go in one at a time and things like that. Since we got there were already people around, floating around. We checked in, like they had a fake check-in list. And then I was like, oh, wait, she has her purse. I didn't want her to walk in with her purse. So I texted Megan while we were out to dinner. So we all went out to Felix Tortilleria, in Venice, for dinner before. And then I'm like, she has her purse. And I'm like, oh, and I'm texting Megan. I'm like, you have to figure out a way to like have her not have her purse. So when we got there, they're like, purses aren't allowed in this room. And they were just like, how did she say it?
She just said, I'm going to have to take your purse. There's no purses allowed. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the paid extra goes, yeah, she said that to me too. And like, this is my baby. Like, I don't don't
really
take
leaned
my
in.
purse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like,
Thank
no
God you guys
small
live in
roles,
LA.
only small
Yeah.
actors.
Yeah,
Really.
she was in it. And I was like, okay. And then this paid extra is talking about, like, the woman with the clipboard is like, so where is your +1? She's like, he's coming. He's just parking. My boyfriend. He's this. He's that. Like, going on.
Oh
and on
my
about.
God.
And I'm
Who
like,
is
okay.
she?
And then another woman walks in. She's like, oh, I love your dress. I think she's like, are you going to the influencer party? I'm like, oh, did Tom? I don't know. Maybe. I was like, I really don't know where I'm at, to be honest. And then the lady was like, I checked back in with her and I was like, where are you going to keep my purse? Like, where I can get it? And she was like, I'll just hold on to it. So I'm like, okay. And then she looked at me and they're like, okay, we're ready for you if you're ready. So I walk in.
These people better have this on their resumes. I want this listed on IMDb Pro.
So good. Everyone was so
really great.
good.
Yeah.
And one of the ladies looks at me and goes, are you ready? In front of the door. And I'm like, yeah.
I think so.
Like, I don't know. And she opens the door and the first thing that I see is a bright light on Jason Russ's video camera and Sarah taking photos. And so I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know it's them, obviously, at the moment because I can't see behind them. It's dark in there. But then there's 200 candles lit and laid across the entire warehouse floor. And then a TV at the end. And it turns on and it's Nick talking to me. And he's telling me to, like, walk through the walkway, stand in the middle of the center.
Then there was like this loft. So I got to go up and kind of walk in. Then I'm just like sobbing at that point. Yeah. And then
We'll share the entirety of the video that I watched one day. But it was about like 4.5 minutes long. I'm sobbing. I have no idea where he is. And then at the end of the video, he's like, now if you'll just look up, and points. And so I look up and he's walking down the steps and he steps into the circle with me and he just says, hey, baby. I said, hey. He said, are you ready?
well, first,
like,
yeah,
yes.
first we hugged for a long time. And then I just, looked at her. I'm like, are you ready? And then I said a couple things down on one knee.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to that, like, we were still trying to milk it. I was like, so what are you going to say to Tom Hanks when you meet him? And no, maybe you asked me that.
I don't know.
We were
I was
talking about that.
I wanted to know if, like, what this Q&A was. Like, am I asking questions? Is press asking questions? Like, what is this Q&A? So I'm like, what are we going to say to him?
Tom Hanks's publicist found out. I don't know if my publicist team told his. I don't know. They all know each other, but apparently, and she told Tom that we were using his name in his movie, A Man Called Otto. Go see it if you're out there. And I guess he got a kick out of it. So again, thanks.
He is
Tom
also
Hanks.
known to, like, show up at engagements or
I think imagine if he's like
weddings
up
or,
in the loft
or
with Nick.
weddings.
Like, he's the one walking down the stairs.
I would have.
with a sign.
Well, I would have. Like, Tom, not now. I can't take this distraction.
Yeah.
But yeah, that.
In the car ride back, or I'm sure it, the party and everything, which we'll get into, but like when you did have moments where you could think to yourselves, like, what were some of the first things going through your head in terms of knowing that you would be married, like things you were looking forward to or feeling especially excited about?
To be honest, like, we were there, we got proposed, and I was thinking a lot about just like,
See, she said it again.
Yeah,
We
very.
got proposed.
We're
got
pregnant
engaged.
and we got proposed.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, I don't know.
They're
I don't know either.
pregnant
I feel like
also.
propose just comes out easier. But in that moment, I was really obviously engulfed in us, and I wasn't more like thinking about the future, but I was kind of having conversations with like my grandparents who had passed, and just being like, you would love this guy. Oh my God, I'm gonna freaking cry.
You made me cry.
I'm also crying.
Okay, hold on. Will you talk about something?
Sure. The night before, I remember, because like I've been so busy with the studio and work and planning the proposal. Like I was running on fumes. Like I felt like a couple times I almost had, like, not in a bad way, just like an emotional breakdown. I mean, when we got dim sum the other night, I was on the verge of tears a lot. Well, there was like because every time I would think about it, I was just like, I'd start crying, you know, and there was, remember, what event did we go to? Natalie and I do this thing where early on when I started dating Natalie, you know, she likes to always ask me what I'm thinking. And I learned this from, like, this is something I just have with my mom. When I was a kid, you know, I'm in my head a lot. I'm always in my head. And my mom just always, I think, wanting to be close to me and stay connected with me, she'd always ask me, what are you thinking about? And as most people do, especially, you know, young boys, they would be like, nothing. And my mom would always say, you can't be thinking about nothing. And I told that to Natalie. And so Natalie and I, we have this thing where we'll always ask each other. She always often asks me more than I ask her, because like off the time I'm just like staring into like whatever, and she'll ask me like, what are you thinking? And no matter what, I always tell her exactly what I'm thinking, which is often just like some random fucking shit.
It's like,
you know?
I wonder, like, is Brad Pitt getting Botox? Is Brad Pitt, like, it's mostly like, I wonder what,
but like it's very
stuff.
specific. I'm like, I'm literally thinking this, and it will be like, oh, I was thinking about, you know, something that would do with work, but it will be, or a movie we just saw, like we watched The Menu, and she might say, what are you thinking about? Like, I was just thinking about like why they didn't care about dying, you know, like it's just a thing we do. So like no matter when she asks, she knows I'm telling her the truth. She knows exactly what I'm thinking. Even if it's the most random shit, I just tell her the most basic things. And so we were going to dinner. It was that car ride. I was looking out the window and you asked me what I was thinking about, and I was thinking about proposing to you. And cause like you asked me when I was thinking about it, and I started tearing up, and then you said, what are you thinking about? And I was like, trying to think about something else. And so that whole week, every time she asked me, I kept saying the studio, like I'm just busy with the studio. And I started feeling bad because I felt like I was, you know, not being attentive to her, even though the whole time I was thinking about like what I would say to you. And then every time, and then the few people who asked me like, what are you going to do? I couldn't get through like explaining how I would propose to people without getting choked up. And then the night before, I went out and got us some water. We were in bed, and I had the self-awareness to, it was just like me and Jeff, because Jeff just follows me everywhere. And it was just, you know, the house was dark, and I got some water, and I had the self-awareness to just take a moment and like think I'm getting engaged tomorrow. I just remember like kind of taking in like what I was feeling or thinking. And then you know, the thought of like, am I nervous? Am I worried? Like people like get cold feet or anything like that. And I just remember thinking like, no, like I feel like great about this. And I remember feeling like, and I told this to you the other day, I just like, for the past several months, you know, when we meet new people, like this is my girlfriend Natalie, it like every time I would say this is my girlfriend Natalie, it felt wrong. It felt insufficient, you know, for like how I felt about our relationship or where we were in our relationship. And I just remember that feeling of like, I'm tired of calling her my girlfriend, you know, like like every time I say my girlfriend to people, I'm not accurately describing to these new people we meet like what she means to me or where we're at in our relationship. And so that was like a really good feeling. So yeah. Anyways.
That's what you're doing out there. I remember being like, Nick, and you came in. I'm like, what were you doing? I thought you were just getting water. And he's like, sorry, I was zoned out with Jeff.
But I was just trying to like really, I don't do that a lot. I often don't take in the moment and just, you know, it was definitely like a moment of gratitude of like, I want to remember this moment. I want to remember how I feel. I want to like talk about how great, like I want to think to myself about like, you know, your average Wednesday night where like, you know, you have work the next day and you're just like trying to get your shit done so you can go to bed. You know, I had this thought of like, these are the moments we need to like try to like just appreciate, because every day that goes by, it's a day that we'll never have back type of thing. And so, yeah. Anyways, what were you saying before? And then you made me do all this.
Sorry. You asked if we, like the time after, if we had thought about our marriage.
Yeah, like what were some of the first things that came to mind when you knew that, now that you knew marriage was like happening in such a like tangible way?
I feel like the first time that I truly was able to think about it was like 2 nights ago when we got our engagement video back, and we had seen it a couple times that day, like it had been posted on Instagram, but I felt like I hadn't really like watched it. And so in bed that night, I was like, let's just watch it one more time. And I pull it up and
We've watched it also, like I've watched it so many times.
Yeah. But I just was watching it and like sobbing because it just felt, Jason just captured the way that I was feeling in that moment. And I feel like he captured it so beautifully in a way that I feel like anytime we watch that back, we'll be right back in that feel. Like we can relive that day so many times. And so that was the night that I truly was like, oh my God, like I am marrying this man and I'm spending the rest of my life with him. Because I feel like there was just such a rush that night that I was like blacked out. Like I really did not, we like got in the car and then we were in the car with Sarah, the photographer, and she was like editing the photos in the car because we were like, we want to post these before we walk into this party, and everyone's like, congratulations, like posting us there. So I feel like there was just such a rush. And then walking into that party and seeing my mom there, like I lost it. And seeing Ashley and Jared, like if you see the video, the facial expressions seem so dramatic, but I was just so filled with joy and happiness. And I feel like all the people who flew out and came together to celebrate us was such a beautiful thing that I just like couldn't control my emotions. And so throughout that entire party, I'm just like screaming and was so happy. And Nick, he came up to me several times. And listen, I'm a genius, right? Genius, stunning, hilarious, so funny. But I have excessive sweat glands in my armpits.
Relatable.
Okay, like I can have some bad BO here and there more often than not. Okay, especially on a very sweaty night like that where I'm like nervous and shaking. And so Nick came up to me like
She's hugging everybody,
He came up to me at the party like twice and he's like, I love you so much. Please go wash your bits. And so
it was with love. It was just like I knew she was hugging people and I just like whispered in her ear, I'm like, just go put on some deodorant. Like,
yeah, you did. Yeah.
Which I think you smell amazing always. She makes me smell. She does it too. She's like, smell them. I'm like, no. When people are just like, this tastes disgusting, try it. I'm like, I'll take your word for it. Like, what the fuck?
Sometimes
I made you smell those nasty, like, what were those pills? Those like muscle relaxants.
Why do people do that? I don't know.
You smelled it.
You just
and then you had
be
Derek
in it
smell
together.
it.
You just want to like.
I needed everyone to smell the muscle relaxants.
Yeah. I just wanted him to know how bad I smelled and still love me.
Yeah. Well, I do.
That's true love.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want other people.
No,
like,
it was nice.
Stank.
It was very nice. I'm glad you did it.
For me, it's different, right? Being older and having had relationships in the past, it's like it really feels like the first time I've ever like done this. I mean, when I was 28, the first time I proposed for all the wrong reasons, and out of fear or the relationship going the wrong way. And, Natalie asked me about that the next day, like, how I felt, it's just like I said the moments ago, it's just like this is how I've always wanted to feel. Like, it's like how I've always imagined I would feel and how being someone who's been in a situation like this before had never felt, I remember the first time when I was 28 and, I remember the next morning waking up and being like, think we made a huge mistake, but like, you know, it was kind of deep down, but you didn't want to actually say that to yourself because, you know, like, you know, sometimes, you know, you have a fear deep down and you don't really say it out loud. You can almost feel yourself pushing it down. And then obviously the bachelor's experience is this whole unique animal. But I will say, babe, I mean, I've never said this to you, but I do feel bad sometimes because, you know, sometimes I feel like you've never made me feel like I come with baggage, but sometimes I feel bad that I feel like sometimes people, you know, drop off my baggage at your doorstep sometimes, you know, and I'm sorry about that. You know, but you're always so good, but like, yeah, you know, am I making any sense? Just having,
I mean, I don't consider it as baggage.
No, I know,
so.
but I just, you know, like, I mean, the everyone's been like, you know, the response and I mean, truly it's been a blessing and so many just, you know, all just from fans or comments, just truly when it comes to the internet, you know, it's hit or miss, but like it's truly people have been so wonderful and so kind and just expressing, you know, I don't know, I can't think of the word, but just everyone's been kind. But then you just forget that, you know, because I asked Natalie, it's just like, oh man, this is really just overwhelmingly positive. And Natalie goes, well, someone did tag me in like Reddit comments about our proposal. And then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about
Reddit exists. Yeah.
that world. But it makes me feel bad sometimes. It makes me feel bad that she has to deal with some of that shit, you know, where I just don't want it to take away from her moment, you know, her day, and to be reminded of choices I've made in the past. And I don't have regrets or anything like that. I truly am grateful. Like I made an Instagram post. Like I truly think everything I've been through allows me to feel so appreciative of what I have and just the type of relationship that we have. Natalie's my longest relationship without a breakup. You know, my first girlfriend, we dated off and on for 7 years. I was very young, back and forth, but you know, it's like, and it's gone by so fast and so seamless, and it's because of the work we put in and how we communicate. It just really makes me super appreciative. But I do get bummed out sometimes that, you know, I don't want you to deal with that stuff. And
That makes me sad that you get bummed out.
no,
I'm so happy that you went through all of that stuff and it does not affect me whatsoever.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I feel bad sometimes.
Don't feel bad.
But then it's like sometimes I see comments and it's just like, who are these people?
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Please
But
use
then
your time for something else.
But then I remind myself I am deliriously happy in life. Truly, I'm so grateful of where I'm in my life and from the people around me. Obviously, you two, Derek, who you guys haven't had the pleasure of really getting to know. I mean, it's just like my friends and the people, again, who helped with the party. And just like, I'm so happy with my life, and I have been so happy the past few years. Obviously, Natalie's been a big part of it, and I'm just so grateful of where I'm at, and I'm so protective of it. And so when I see comments like that, sometimes, I mean, I hope all those people can find what I've been able to find in life, because I imagine they'll be far less insufferable.
Yeah.
Or like thoughtless.
Yeah. Yeah. But also just, again, thank you for caring. Have we covered everything? I don't know. I love you. Oh, we are really enjoying calling each other fiancé.
Can confirm.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
We're here for all their phone calls.
Nick's always like, everyone can hear you. I'm like, okay, I'm
It's
kissing
fun.
you.
I'm like,
fiance. You're like, all right, honey. The morning after, obviously, we were up super late. We go to bed at like 9:30. So we both feel kind of like hungover, even if we don't drink. We're just like staying up that late.
Yeah, we got to bed at like 9:30.
So we woke up and I was like, oh my God, like my head. He's like, can I get you anything? Some like water, ibuprofen. And I was like, yeah. And my ring. And then I was like, every morning because I don't sleep in it. So I was like, every morning, if you'll just put it on me by getting on one knee and sliding it on my
Every
finger
day.
every morning. And
So
he
far I
does.
have.
He does, yeah.
Well, when she's half awake.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love you.
Love you too.
This is the first time I've ever started even planning a wedding. Not that we haven't done much planning, but like it's fun to already talk about it.
It is fun to talk about.
If you need to allocate any of my hours from this show to your
wedding,
feel free.
Happily.
That will be all. You're welcome to help. It will not count
as hours.
as hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, why aren't you in studio? I'm like, Natalie and I are shopping.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Because
We're
I
on a
know
mission.
how much you love it, and if you want.
Oh no.
But speaking of wedding help, we do have an extra special caller today who's looking for some advice pertaining to wedding planning and specifically dress shopping. So we figured what a perfect guest to provide some insight on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then so we'll get to our texting office hours, and then after texting office hours, I want you guys to meet my friend Victor, who's done so much to help this studio. But also, if you guys haven't heard of the beauty of vinyl and what it can do to transform a party of any kind,
Absolutely.
it's blown my mind.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really nuts.
Anyway, for all the people who are party planning, who are planning a special moment or event or a day, and you haven't heard of vinyl, I need you to know about it because I'm intoxicated.
It completely just elevates. I
Yeah.
mean, like at our party, the details of like we walked in, there was this like silver checkered floor on the mirror right when you walk in. It said, "Congratulations, Nick and Natalie." On the floor next to a champagne thing, it said, "We're engaged." Like it just elevates a party and the details.
Like when I had my book party that Natalie threw for me, my birthday party, that whole that big poster board with the book on it, it was all, anyways, it's incredible. And I've just been fascinated by it. I'm like, this is vinyl? How do you do this? Because it all looks,
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Victor's the type of person you just like trust with your life. Probably.
Exactly.
The king
That's
of
how I feel about
aesthetics.
you, just so you know.
100%.
I'd probably list you as my emergency contact.
He's a goddamn saint. Anyway, we're gonna chat after texting office hours. We'll we're gonna chat with Victor briefly, and all right, let's get to our caller. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Cassie.
Hi,
I'm
Cass.
28.
Nice to meet you, Cassie. How can we help?
Yeah. So I just wanted to know, am I being dramatic for uninviting my grandmother and my great aunt to my wedding dress try-ons?
Ooh. Okay. How apropos. Why? Yeah. I guess why don't you explain the situation and why you want to uninvite them? Because it sounds like they've been invited. Now, did you,
Yes.
like, first question is, did you invite them and now you've changed your mind, or did someone else invite them and you're kind of like, why did you invite them? Because that happens sometimes with parties. You're just like, what? You know?
Yeah, it's the second option.
Okay.
So it's my mom's mom, and it's my grandmother's sister. So I call her my aunt. She's my great aunt,
Sure.
technically. My mom invited them without telling me, and then like, quote unquote, ran it by me and was like, hey, like they're going to be in town for the engagement party. And since we're doing the wedding dress try on the next day, I thought it'd be cool if they go. And I was like, no, I actually don't want them going because I'm already having, 5 people. And I feel like that's plenty of opinions. So I think I'm good. And she was like, well, I already told them that they can come. And I was like, well, then why are you asking me if it's okay if you already made the decision for me?
This is your mom.
So this is
Yeah.
my mother. Yeah.
Okay.
This is my mother.
She's great.
And then what did mom say?
So, I basically was like, why did you invite them without consulting with me first? And she was like, well, because I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I didn't think you were going to react this way. And I was like, okay, well, this is why you ask before you just do things. You don't, the whole ask for forgiveness is not really applicable here. And she was like, well, I didn't think it was a big deal. And you're inviting, your fiance's family and you're inviting your friends. So, and I said, okay, so are you just expecting me to uninvite 2 people? Because not only is it a personal preference of like, I don't want that many opinions to be involved, but it's also there's capacity limits for the shops, you know, and I kind of checked with them already before, because 5 is kind of a high number, and their limits are like 7, like 5 to 7. And this would put me at, I think I'm actually having 6 people, if I'm not mistaken. So this would put me at 8, which would be over anybody's capacity limit. And I was like, you know, not only do I not want them there because of opinions, but there's, you know, the shops are also going to have a problem with this. So you probably should have asked me first, so that, you know, at least if I was going to consider it, they could let me know if that's going to be okay or not, because I don't want to be turned away the day of.
Is grandma is she known to be an opinionated person?
Kind of. My mom is worse. No, it's not so much that she's like, she will definitely share her opinion, but it's just, so I have been engaged previously a couple years ago, and I've done my wedding dress shopping before. And that was in the midst of COVID. It was June of 2020 when I went dress shopping that time. So because of COVID, the shops were letting people in, but it was very minimal capacity, like 3 to 4 people. And at that time I had 3 people come with me. And even that was overwhelming, like, just because you're so like overwhelmed with emotions during that day, and there's so many options, and you've got everybody telling you like what looks good on you and what doesn't, but like, how do you feel? And it's just a lot. And I'm known to get very like overwhelmed very fast. So I think it was more so that than I'm not necessarily scared that she's going to give me like all these unnecessary opinions, but it's more so like, even just like oh, I don't like that, or that one's okay, or that one looks really great on you, and what if I don't like it?
I feel like it's also like your friends would have more of a similar taste to what you would like, or know better what you like, versus your grandma and your great aunt.
Yes, and to add to that too, like just a side note, is my grandma lives in Missouri. I'm from California, and I just moved to Texas in October. So I'm doing this all in California when I go home in June. And so apparently my grandma was, you know, flying out there for the engagement party, but her and I are not like by any means close. I mean, to the point where I didn't even get a call congratulating me on my engagement from her. So I'm not really sure where this like excitement is coming to like come wedding dress shopping for me, if you don't even have the decency to call me. Like,
not even excitement, just like the expectancy to like be at your wedding dress.
Exactly. Like, apparently she talks to my mom about it all the time, but not to me. And I would think, you know, I'm the fiance, I'm the bride to be, like, I should be the one getting the calls like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for your wedding, blah blah blah. But instead she talks to my mom about it, and then my mom relays it to me, and I'm like, okay.
I don't think she's being dramatic. Does anyone disagree?
No.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay, so I felt that was pretty clear.
Yeah.
It's your day. And so I think we all agree that we need to figure out a way to uninvite grandma and auntie. But my question to you is, what are you most anxious about? Is it disappointing grandma, or is it disappointing your mom, or having a conflict with your mom because you want to uninvite them and you're not sure about how to do that? And like, is your expectation that your mom uninvites them because she invited them, or do you feel like she won't necessarily have your back and communicate the message that you want? Which, in the obvious message, the obvious excuse is capacity, right? It's just like, hey, listen, I overstepped, I spoke too soon, I didn't, you know, this is, I'm assuming what your mom should say. I didn't realize there's a capacity limit. Unfortunately, like, you can't come, send them to a spa or whatever the fuck, you know.
We'll FaceTime you.
Yeah, we'll FaceTime you
Right.
or something. We'll send you pictures, but like, there's just, you know, and it's just really important for her to have her girls there and, you know, the people that you are close with. And I personally, for me, I have no problem disappointing people. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I have no problem disappointing people if I feel like it's just, you know, like, I don't want to hurt people.
Right.
It's just like, I don't feel guilt if people have an expectation of me that I don't subscribe to, or I don't feel like I need to give. I guess I'm fine with being like, well, I mean, okay. But I'm curious, other people that's harder for. Like, other people are just like, I don't want to disappoint anyone. Like, where are you on the scale of making people happy versus like knowing that you're justified for feeling the way you do, and then letting the chips fall where they may? And again, what's your expectation or anxiousness around how this should be told, and the drama that could unfold by you enforcing this boundary?
So I think I kind of fall more towards the like, I don't give a fuck side.
Great. Good for you.
With most things in life.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to like, I go to therapy frequently, and I've been working on boundaries with my parents because I had a hard time with that. So when it comes to boundaries, you know, it's a newer trait that I'm working on, but I'm pretty good about it. So I feel like, you know, initially I voiced my opinion and was just like, no, this is not going to work. However, like the way she said, oh, well, I didn't expect you to react this way. I kind of felt the same. I was like, well, I didn't expect you to react so offensively when I said no. Like, it's my day. It's about me and who I want there, not who you want there. So I definitely would expect, because she's the one who invited, to be the one to disinvite. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I also think, like, is this the hill that I want to die on? You know, we're not getting married for another year and a half. We have a long engagement road ahead of us where my parents are helping a lot, you know, financially with this wedding. And obviously I want my mom a part of every piece of my wedding. And I feel like this early on, that if we have this conflict and this disagreement and she doesn't essentially get her way, it might affect things later down the line, and not by any doing of me, but maybe by resentment on her end, because she can kind of tend to be that way.
Yeah, which you can totally do. And I'm sure like the venue will make it work if you're like, hey, I'm sorry, we have one more, right? Like that's definitely an option to just quote unquote suck it up and not let it get to you. I don't want you to agree to this out of fear, especially when it comes to your mom, because like that's when you could feel that resentment. How did that, when you confronted your mom about this, how did it end? Like where, you know, you said, hey, like you said what you said and your mom said, well, I'm sorry. I didn't think you would be upset. How did that conversation end?
We do actually also have some text messages that seemed like the moment of confrontation.
Oh, okay. Who wants to do a dramatic reading? I think I should sit this one up.
You don't want to try on dresses?
I just feel like we have some very capable and wonderful women in this room that can.
I feel like Natalie should obviously be playing the role of bride.
Yes.
Yes.
I can be mother.
Great. Yeah.
Okay. I am mother. Okay. So I think maybe. So for context, it starts with me as mother sending Amazon link to some paddle boards.
No.
Oh, yes.
Oh
Yes.
my
So
God, I'm
that's a
already
backstory.
absolutely not.
Yes.
And
We're not
Yes,
bringing
so that was the
paddles.
backstory.
What's
No.
the backstory?
Like, so it's
Okay.
like, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah. So this is actually where the kind of the confrontation started at the beginning of this day. So I, you know, like I said, I'm in Texas, so I'm 2 hours ahead. And so I go to sleep earlier than she does. I wake up to these messages of this Amazon link of these like dry erase paddles. And she's like, I'm going to get these for your dress try on and we're going to vote on your dress. And I
Absolutely
said,
not.
Nightmare.
Absolutely not.
No.
I was
This
like,
is not Dancing with the Stars. So sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
No.
I was like, I don't know what I said, but I kind of went back and forth in the messages where I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I'll think about it. And then I said, it should be fine. And then I said something like, you know, I actually am not okay with that because, you know, I have like body dysmorphia, you know, just like every other girl in the world these
Absolutely.
days. And I already have a hard time with like being nervous about how I'm going to look in a wedding dress and making sure that I'm comfortable. And I really don't want, you know, like America's Next Top Model.
Well, that's
like,
the thing. There's a
paddles.
huge difference between sharing an opinion and writing it on a paddle and holding it up. Like, it just makes you feel like you're a spectacle and not a human being.
Exactly. Yeah. That's kind of what I said. I was like, you know, I'm not really comfortable with that. I don't really want to sit there and be judged, or like, what if I love the dress and someone writes on their paddle that they hate it, and then I'm going to be swayed to like not like it because someone likes it, or vice versa. And I was just like, like, no. And she was respectful of that. She was like, okay, like no big deal. We don't have to do that. And I was like, okay, cool. Like we're done with that. And then we moved on later in the day when I was at work to her saying like, I invited Grandma Pam and Aunt Cindy to your wedding dress try on. And I was like, oh, okay.
And I feel like maybe this would be a great place to pick up the text. That will be the topic.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm talking to Jima Pam, and she's going to come for your engagement party to try on dresses. But Aunt Cindy will be there too, so there will be a lot of people, if that's okay.
I love how she started, I did this.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's why I was like, okay, so are you asking for forgiveness or permission? I'm confused.
Response is, oh, I don't think we can have that many people there. There's a limit at each shop, and I'm at the limit already.
Well, your family comes first, IMO, in my opinion.
Okay.
Why would you say it like that?
So you're expecting me to uninvite my friends who I already asked to be there for me because she had decided out of the blue to show up?
Yeah, I am, and it's not out of the blue. It's 6 months away.
So why did you ask in your first text, is that okay, if when I say no, you're going to tell me too bad?
I mean, you're having grooms, mom, and sister going because I didn't expect you to react this way.
I'm at work. I don't have time for this right now. I'll think about it and decide what I want to do.
She thought she had to use a travel voucher by March 25th, and it's May, and she just told me. They won't turn people away if you have more than the, quote, limit.
How does she know that?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like what?
Yeah.
And so in the midst of all this, I'm at work and I'm really busy, but I'm trying to like message all the shops. I'm going to 4 places and I'm like messaging them, what's your like capacity limit for guests? And they were all very understanding. Like you said, Nick, like, hey, if you have 1 extra, it's not a big deal. Just know that like at one shop, they were like, well, we only have seating for 7. So 1 person will have to stand. And I was like, well, Grandma, you're standing because you wanted to come last minute. And I understand it's 6 months away, but still, like, I have already, like, I'm very
You've
type
booked
A,
it. You've planned it. Yeah.
Yes. Like, I have asked my 2 bridesmaids to be there. I have asked my future in-law, sister-in-law, and mother-in-law to be there. Like,
which is such
I
a
have my
lovely
people set.
gesture, and I love when people do that. So the fact that your mom turned around and like weaponized it of, well, you're inviting his mom and sister. That's a huge, great gesture.
Yeah.
To include them. So good for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
And they are not like, they're also traveling from Ohio to California for this weekend event, like our engagement party, the dress try on. Like, they're not, it's not like they live local. Like, they are traveling across the country as well. So, you know, I don't know.
All right,
so that's kind of where the texts end.
Hold on, it gets juicier.
I can't handle
Oh yeah, so
I
that's
can't
where the
take
texts
it.
end, right? And then when I get off work, because I don't text her back, I call her and I'm like, listen, we need to squash this. We need to figure this out because I'm not trying to have tension with you, and I'm trying to do all the things my therapist tells me to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like,
I pick up the phone and like, yeah, but great
Yes.
that you did that.
But I was at work, so, I had to wait a couple hours. I call her on my way home, and I'm like, listen, we need to talk about this. So if I first bring up the paddle thing, I'm like, I'm not cool with this. Here's why. And she says, okay, I understand. I didn't mean to make you feel that way. And I said, and I know you probably didn't have bad intentions with it, but this is how it makes me feel. And she says, totally fine. No paddles. Like, bad idea. And I was like, okay, great. Moving on. She goes, well, before you bring up the grandma thing, let me say something. And then you might not even have to say your piece. And I'm like, okay. So she's like, I just feel like it's really important that your grandma is there. I had her there for my dress try on, and I had my grandma there for my dress try on, and I'll never forget that day. And I said, okay, fair enough. But in case you forgot, I have been engaged before. And when I tried on dresses that time, where was this energy? Where was this excitement? Where was this need to be there and this desire to be a part of this day? Why can't we FaceTime her? Why does she have to be there present? She's like, well, because it was during COVID. I said, okay, well, she didn't even ask to be FaceTimed or to get videos of my dress, or she didn't even know if she was going to come to the wedding. Like, she had said, oh, I don't know. So where was this energy last time versus this time? Like, now she's all like gung-ho about being a part of everything, and we're not even close. Like, and I told her, she hasn't even called me to congratulate me about our engagement that happened in November, and this conversation happened in December. Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand. So we were on the phone. She ends up getting mad, giving me attitude. And I said, listen, I'm not going to sit here and let you talk to me that way. We can talk like 2 adults, or we don't have to talk at all. You can call me back when you calm down. So I end up getting off the phone with her. I'm like, you can call me back later when you're ready to talk. So about 20 minutes later, I'm driving, and 20 minutes later, my phone rings again. She calls me. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, let's talk. So then we start talking again. Same thing. she's just like, it's really important for me. It's really important for me. And I'm like, it's not your day. You have already been married. Like, this is my turn. It's my day. And we're like going back and forth. And I'm just like, I just don't understand why you would invite somebody without asking me first. Because had you asked me first, I would have told you no. And you wouldn't have been in this predicament of needing to uninvite her. And she said, well, if you're going to say no, then you have to call her and uninvite her. And I was like, no, I don't, because I didn't invite her. So we end up like yelling at each other on the phone. I just like lost it. I lost all my therapy tricks. And
it's like, here we go. Yeah.
Inner child's got to say something.
Yeah.
And
I just was like freaking out. So hangs up on me. And then that's where the texts resume.
All right.
You've got to be kidding me, LOL. When you decide to act like the 50-year-old woman you are, you can call me back to finish the conversation. And if you choose not to do that, I'll take that as a sign that you don't want to be involved in me choosing a wedding dress, and that will speak volumes about you. Choice is yours.
Please don't talk to me in that passive-aggressive manner.
Can I interject one here? Just real pet peeve of mine. When people like, no, that's an aggressive manner. You were pretty direct. It's not passive-aggressive. When people like misuse passive-aggressive, where it's just like, that's not passive aggressive. You're being very direct. I would call that aggressive. I don't know. Just a note. It's just like, mom doesn't know what passive. It's just like, you guys were yelling at each other. How is that passive aggressive? I don't know. People do that all the time.
It was full blown crazy.
It's like, why are you being passive aggressive? I'm like, I'm literally telling you exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
That is direct. Anyway, sorry.
So direct.
I needed to just get that out.
No,
Thank you for letting me share.
I don't care how old you are, I'm still your mom, and if you want respect, then you need to give it. Don't tell me you're going to nix anything, because if you don't want me there, then all you have to do is say so. Don't threaten me, please, because as much as I love you and want to be there, you treating me the way you do and acting like I'm bringing some stranger is not okay. I'm the first to say she's not the, quote, ideal grandma. She wasn't the, quote, ideal mom to me either, and still isn't. But she's getting older, and she's literally the last grandparent you have left, and you're only 28. So instead of making comments about her not calling and congratulating you, who cares? She said it to you on Facebook like so many others. You really hurt my feelings with the things that you were saying, because if it was your dad's mom who wanted to go, you would never have said, no, sorry, we are at our limit. No, sorry, we're at our limit was quoted, which I think is important. And if you did, I would feel the exact same way, because no matter if you see your grandparents in a daily, talk to them weekly or rarely, if they want to be there for a special day for you, then you should be open to that. I think you're just upset because you think I needed to run it past you. And if it was a friend of mine, then yeah, I would. But it's not. It's your grandma and my mom. Also, for you to say I can invite my friends to the wedding, you don't even want the cousins you literally grew up with there because they didn't congratulate you or don't follow you on social media. So why would I invite my friends to the wedding? If I did do that, then I'd hate to see how you acted towards me when you act like this when I invited your own flesh and blood to try on wedding gowns. But like I said, if you want to try them on in Houston alone, in brackets, your words, not mine, then you're a grown woman. You can do what you want, but I'm not going to be threatened by you or walk on eggshells because it's your dress try-on day. I thought it would be special to have your grandma there with you, because you should know that tomorrow isn't promised and to anyone. And I know having Nana and my mom there with me trying on dresses is a day I'll never forget, and I'm happy to have had it.
Whew. Where are we at? Where are we now with mom?
Mom and I are fine. It was kind of brushed under the rug.
Because this happened 3 days before Christmas.
Yeah. So like I said, I live in Texas now, and she lives in California. So I didn't travel home. We've never had plans to travel home for Christmas. Nobody had plans to travel to us because they were just here in November for our engagement. So yeah, it definitely put like a damper on Christmas a little bit, like some tension, but I just was like, we're just gonna table this for now.
So what does your gut tell you after all of this drama? Like, what does your gut tell you is the best thing for you to do for your internal like peace of mind going forward, thinking about your entire engagement and your ability to enjoy this whole process? And again, I want you to think about what I just asked you, like, big picture, what's going to allow you to not necessarily be right or win, what's going to allow you to have the calmest peace of mind going forward?
I think, like I said earlier, I was thinking like, is this the hill that I want to die on with my mom? Is this, because I highly doubt this will be the last, disagreement we have about something that has to pertain to my wedding. I think, honestly, this is not the hill that I want to die on. I think I can be really good about just blocking them out and just focusing
on your friends.
Myself.
Yeah.
Yes. And really focusing on my two best friends that are there. Of course, I'm happy, my future in-laws will be there and stuff, but I'm most excited for my two best friends to be there with me because they've been, with me through everything. They're like 10-year plus friendships. So they're really important. And I just really think like I said, this is just not the hill that I want to die on, because I don't think this will be the last, little disagreement, big disagreement, whatever it may be that my mom and I have, because we are very similar in personalities. I think the only difference is that I've gone to therapy to work on some of those personality traits and she has not.
Sure.
So I'm a little better at, mitigating them, or like calling and being like, let's talk like adults. And she's like, I just want to scream at you. And I'm like, okay.
In the future, just say, can we talk? Don't say, can we talk like adults? Because that comes across as very condescending. Aggressive? Sure, but less condescending. And it's just going to trigger. You're setting if you're trying to talk like adults, you're suggesting that she's not, and that you had to be the adult. Whether she is or isn't, I get it. But like if your goal is a productive and healthy conversation, that's just a small note.
Right.
So I have two
agree.
thoughts. I'd love to hear what you ladies think. But like, it sounds like you're leaning towards just like allowing this to happen. If you do allow it to happen, I still think you should use this as an opportunity to kind of reset expectations with mom going forward. And maybe it's just like, hey mom, again, I just want to talk to you about this. Like, first and foremost, like anytime you're like dealing with conflict, I think it's always good to just lead that conversation with like, I just want you to know how much I love you. I want you to know how appreciative I am of you, how grateful I am of whatever it is you and her and your dad are doing, and just start there. That's always a better place to start a conversation rather than let's talk like adults. You know what I'm saying? So like that.
Yeah.
So I would do that and just say, hey, listen, like, I just really want to enjoy this. I was engaged before. It wasn't the best experience. It really is a lot. It's so important for me to enjoy this. And I really want you to enjoy it with me. Would it be okay if going forward that you just any ideas you have, I would love to hear. And as my mom, this is also, in some ways your experience too. It's definitely my day, but I do want you to feel like you're a part of this. But all I'm asking is that just check with me. Let's just do this together. Can you please just open up to me and talk to me about any ideas you have, and let's just talk about it, because it's not so much that, that they were invited. It's just like, it certainly wasn't my first choice, but like, I just didn't like that you just presumed for me, and I was a little uncomfortable with it. Like, I'm fine with letting it happen, but going forward, can we avoid stuff like this by you just talking to me through this? And I'm also asking that if I do disagree with you, that you just like recognize that, like, allow me to be a little selfish, because it is my wedding and I'm hoping that's okay. And so you're just kind of asking her rather than telling how she should ask, and just seeing if she'd be okay with that. And I think that could go a long way to like preventing any further conflict by using this up. You're giving her the win, but you're simultaneously saying, going forward, could we communicate like this? And can we talk like that? And when we have conflict, can you do this and that? And I think hopefully that could go a long way.
I think that could be productive. I think that she does have a tendency to kind of not ask for permission, but ask for forgiveness. Like I said, she kind of did a similar thing with my sister's baby shower, which I won't get into, but she invited someone and then had to uninvite because she didn't ask my sister first.
Have you called her out on that? Be like, hey, it's this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you have.
Then I think a good way to just get through the day itself is to like let your two best friends know what's going on if you haven't already, and just have them be kind of a buffer. Like if your grandma starts to like be too much or whatever, they can be like, okay, well, anyways, we love it, like we think this, and they can just kind of shift it off of grandma and aunt to make it a little bit.
I would go to your two besties and kind of almost ask them, can you run the show? You know, and I would tell your besties, knowing that you can trust them, I would describe to them like how this day could go perfectly, how you want to experience, like, like the mom had the paddleboard idea. Like everyone's different. Like some people when it comes to fashion and taste, like know what they want, and they just want like people to either, kind of guide them or just be their cheerleaders. Other people are just like, I don't fucking know, like walk me through it. And so I would tell your best friends like what you want this experience to be and what type of feedback you're looking for, so that they can kind of let everyone know, and more importantly, be quick to like be the louder voices in the room.
Totally.
So that you feel like you're enjoying it, and let your best friends kind of run the group. And I think that can help you enjoy your day the best.
And even if it's like them reminding or like setting a rule up front, like the thing that I did like about your mom's text is that she said, oh, we'll do the paddles after you share your opinion. That's, I think, just like a rule for everybody.
Yeah.
The second those curtains open, you wait for the bride to say something, and then you can then you can contribute. Like they always get the first word. They always say what they like about it, what they don't like about it, what they're uncertain about. Like that should just be a rule.
Yeah. And I also think like on the topic of rules, like if there's specific like things that are like triggering or just kind of like start to tiptoe into the like atrocious body dysmorphia hellscape that exists in my brain too. Like I think if there's certain phrases that you want to let your friends know about, so it's even if it's like, well, you're getting ready for the next one and your grandma like says something to the group, they can just like shut it down really early, or like not even specific phrases, but just like general sort of like the genre of the kinds of comments that are just like no-go territory, and just kind of even maybe setting them up as ground rules, like being like, I'm so excited to have you here. I cannot wait to hear your opinions. It would be really helpful if you could share XYZ, some stuff that I think would make this day a little bit tougher for me or this. And then the one other thing I was going to say is that for me personally, sometimes with like body dysmorphia stuff, one thing that I find kind of helpful, in addition to like all of the love and confidence and acceptance, is being like, people pay billions of dollars so that way I feel bad about my body and they can profit off of it. Like I like sometimes channeling that anger in moments where I'm really feeling at a loss and like just really kind of wrecked with it, and saying like, no, people want me to feel this way so that way they can profit off of me, and I'm not going to let them profit off of my insecurities. And like, I know myself, and these like billionaires do not get to decide how I feel about my body when I'm trying on dresses. Like that's something that's really helpful for me, and so maybe it will be helpful for you.
I love that. I've never thought about it in that way.
Yeah, I think that's amazing advice. And as a friend, I love it when my friends give me permission to play bad cop. And when they give me the green light to so I don't know who your friend's personality, but like just say like, I need you guys to run the show. I need you to, play bad cop if need be. Like, but these are my expectations, and like help me have the best day possible. And I give you guys permission to like help enforce some of my boundaries so I can enjoy my day. And my guess is your friends will be down.
They would absolutely. They're very outspoken people. So
and just kind of have fun with it. Like, maybe, if grandma pops off or even mom, you guys can kind of, talk up, just be like, oh, if she did it, it can't be fine.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you can do that and like just have fun with it or whatever. But as far as mom goes, just do your best to try to keep setting those expectations and just letting her know. And, it's just like, mom wants to feel special, mom wants to feel important, and so when she's being selfish, try to find ways to make her feel like she's getting what she wants, all while, making sure you set expectations, and just doing that by like gas her up and make her just compliment the shit out of her, that usually goes a long way with, I think, parents.
There's also so many more events. Your bridal shower, there's just so many more bachelorette trips, so many more things that go into this that like don't let this ruin trying on wedding dresses.
And just final thought, like don't let any history with your mom make a bad situation worse. You know, sometimes when like people who do the same shit over and over, and when they do it, it just kind of irritates you. You're like, I'm fucking doing it, and then you let it eats you up. Like when it comes to your wedding and your engagement, don't let that make it your frustrations compound because mom's doing it again or mom's not listening. Just let it wash off and brush it away, and then deal with that later. But don't let it compound a frustrating situation.
Because there's a big difference between accepting something and giving up. And you're not giving up or losing this fight. You're choosing to accept it in a way that's very impressive.
I'm just choosing to be the bigger person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Once you've gone to the dress fitting and everything, let us know how it goes and send us an update.
Yeah. Yes, I would love to be on an update episode. So
we'd love to have you.
Email you again.
Let us know. All right. Well, take care. Congratulations. Thank you for calling. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Take care. Victor, get on in here, Victor. Come sit down.
Victor. This
studio was brought to you by, in a big part,
the king of aesthetics.
Victor, the king of aesthetics. He built this desk. He mounted the TV. Victor, I'm so grateful for everything you've done for us and continue to do. But tell me about your company. And Vinyl, and just tell our audience all the ways that you could make their special moments or their friends' special moments even that much more magical with all the things that you do when it comes to party planning and vinyl and things like that. Because I think most people just aren't aware of what you provide, and I was blown away by it. And I just think it's such a lifesaver when it comes to. It just seems like you can elevate a party way more affordably and efficiently than with other options when it comes to like what you do with your company.
It's old school. It's always been around. Everything's people. Okay, when I say the word vinyl,
yeah, what do you mean? Because when
people think record.
That's what I thought.
Yes, record.
Okay,
I was like, oh, I don't play records.
So the name of the company is Laced Vinyl Shop.
Oh, you have an Instagram?
So yes. So they think it's Laced Vinyl Shop.
That's the actual.
Laced.
Yeah, but I spelled it old school.
Spell it. Spell laced.
So laced is like the word decal spelled backwards, and then vinyl is not a record, and then shop SHOPPE.
Classy.
Because it's easier that way. Stickers are everywhere. I mean, if you ever go anywhere and something is not covered in a sticker, a brand or on the door, or in the bathroom, on your car, some of y'all probably still have it on your refrigerator when you bought it brand new. We do all that. When he was talking about the branding and elevating your event, I have not seen one single wedding, one single birthday, one single anything that didn't have something printed. So about 15 years ago, we decided to go from car wraps and vehicle stuff, which, I mean, I love you car wrap people, don't get me wrong, but 24 hours to 48 hours on a car or 4 hours on a party, I'd rather do that in a heartbeat. See the table? Maybe for Valentine's Day, Nick wants me to make this covered in hearts. It'll take me like 30 minutes, and this whole table will be covered in hearts. This back wall, you can see it here because it's textured, but we could have printed this whole wall, and you would have never known the difference.
But yeah, you can like wrap doors. They had floors. When the shot when we got engaged, if you look, there's like it looks like a disco floor when we walked in, and they like planned a shot. That was all vinyl that they laid down, and they just like put. It's like I guess just a giant sticker.
Just a giant sticker. If Nick opened up a company, we would call it Big Ass Sticker.
Yeah,
Love it.
When we threw Natalie's birthday party, Victor came, and so we made like this DJ booth, and we just put like, it was like what, styrofoam?
Just foam,
and then we wrapped it around. We took this like plastic tabletop that we got at Walmart, and then we basically taped foam around it, and they put like the whole stick around it, and it looked like this professional
like DJ
booth desk that had, Natalie and Keaton's birthday, and then they wrapped they trapped the taco truck or whatever, and then they had cornhole. You play cornhole. They wrapped the cornhole with their names and everything. It just like it customizes everything, and it's just like it makes such a cool experience. Like you've done wedding floors where you put
The dance floor.
dance floor.
And it looks like the whole venue was retiled to have a custom logo of the couple in the center, and it's actually like your work. You've worked with an existing space to create that in like a short amount of time. It's so impressive.
It looks like they like custom built an entire building with your like could be pictures of you, your names, or things like that. It's really just incredible.
Hollywood magic, movie magic.
Yeah.
I think vinyl is versatile. I think it comes white, it comes clear, and then you put an image on it. When I first started vinyl, like if you pan out, or if you look at the backdrop, I used to do vinyl that was never printed. When I first started, I didn't own a printer. I was poor. It was just a cutter. So all these would be cut out individually and hand laid. So if you go back and you look, their engagement floor, that was all individual squares of silver mirror chrome. It wasn't a printout. Yeah, we had to lay that in pieces.
Yeah. That's why I had to go around the backyard. I was like, well, don't need to ruin this. I like opened your front door and I was like going back out. I was like, so sorry.
On my knees, down on the ground.
Like,
here she comes.
Wish you luck.
Yeah, it's intense, but the creativity level, it's
endless.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah.
They don't have to be here. I could have made cardboard cutouts of them.
That
move.
Yeah, you don't have to try on dresses. I'll just make a silhouette of you.
And you'll put dresses on it.
You'll
and I'll just
you could stand there and look at yourself getting dressed and be like, oh, I like that. And then we'll bring in a little Nick, put him on the side. Yeah,
so if anyone's planning a wedding or a party and they want to elevate it and get vinyl, what do they just DM you?
Kind of sucks. My phone number's on Instagram, so you can it is easier to call me, because if I don't want to talk to you, I kind of just hang up. But
and block your number.
Yeah. That the idea of calling someone or talking to me, it's more personable. I think it's good. You could just call me. You can DM me if you want, but I don't look at DMs.
So call you.
So call Victor.
Just call me.
Tell him about your party, about your wedding.
Yeah, and
get ready because the ideas start flooding.
Ideas flow from that point.
Yeah, once you start one thing, unless you're getting married in like 2 weeks, it's gonna morph.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if any of y'all have ever seen your friends get married, they have like a Pinterest and Etsy, and then all of a sudden it turns into
a vision board,
and then some kind of book, and then like their friends are pinning, and then it's just like, how many weddings are you having? So it's whatever you want it to be at the end of the day. If you want me to put fairies on the ground and butterflies or a little ocean and you want to walk across it, it's done. If you want to get a studio and just transform everything and get married inside of a square.
Well, that's the idea, guys. You're getting married here.
What I've learned more than anything is that
room.
What Victor makes like what you think is either impossible or too expensive, very realistic.
Yes.
That's kind of how I felt when I got to know you. But listen, I'm just super grateful for everything you've done. Like Victor is a person who we met through mutual friends who offered his help and his assistance without asking for anything in return. And I'm a big believer of helping people where you can and paying things forward. And I'm so lucky to have the friends that I have and the community I have, and it's a group of people that we try to help each other out when we can. And Victor is also just like he very much just I'm also the type of person, like, I don't let people into my circle easily. In fact, it's very difficult to let people into my circle. But when I do, you're in. But Victor is someone who just really went out of his way to show Natalie and I how much he cared, and like he just wanted to do it right, and he always exceeded our expectations. And every time I was like, that's too much, he tried to do more. And that's just the type of kind of energy you get with Victor if you do want to have vinyl at your party. So if you want to elevate your party, reach out to my friend, because I think he can really, he's made me feel like a party planner extraordinaire. You know, like
He's a custom fabricator
We're
now.
posting shit all over Instagram. I'm getting all this fucking credit that I don't deserve of like trying to throw like, and it's all because of people like Victor, and Shauna, and it's been really incredible. So thank you.
You're so welcome. You're both
We
welcome.
love you. Your
We love-
family.
oh man, you guys. I'm blessed. You think he's talking about having a good circle? I wouldn't be able to do what I do if y'all didn't exist. Period. I mean,
Aw.
all I would be doing
So
is
sweet.
sleeping.
Well, you probably deserve some sleep after the last
Yeah.
like, few days
there's
you've
no
had with
sleeping
us.
here. The show must go on.
Well, I think that kind of wraps it up. Thank you guys for listening. I love you, fiance.
I love you, fiance.
It's so fun to say. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com. That's asknick@theviallfiles.com. If you usually listen to our episode on audio, we love that because that's where most people check this out. But check out our new studio if you haven't already on YouTube. You can watch the episodes on YouTube. You know, if you're curious about the work we've done, we'll also post some behind the scenes footage of what this used to look like and what it looks like now. It's been a fun journey, but we have a lot of exciting things ahead for you guys, as I said in our intro, but we are excited of the future of the show, and we are excited, Natalie and I, for the future of our relationship, and they go so much hand in hand. And I'm just going to try to keep making the best show possible so that I could give everything I ever wanted to the people I love most. So thanks so much. And
Next week we have the Bachelor premiere.
Oh my
Bachelor
gosh,
premiere
it's back.
with Ariana Madix from
Oh,
Vanderpump.
yay.
Little reality TV crossover. So we'll probably get some updates regarding their new season with Ariana. Plus, she'll help us break down episode 1 of The Bachelor, and then special surprise for our Going Deeper guest next week. The week after that, we have Jim Jeffries recapping The Bachelor with us. And then we have the Lautners, both Taylor Lautner and Taylor Lautner, in studio to talk about, they're recently engaged.
Will you
Talk
invite them
about-
to our wedding?
Huh?
Will you invite them to our wedding?
Sure. Well, do we want to invite them even if they don't invite us?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't care. I need to have.
I don't.
You're like, I need leverage.
I need Jacob at my wedding. So
Yeah. He's a wonderful man. He's super sweet. So yeah, that's what's coming up on the docket. And anything we're
The premiere of our AMP dating show, Better Date Than Never, is tomorrow. If you are listening on, no, it's tonight.
it's tonight.
It's tonight.
It's tonight, 6 p.m.
Pacific.
9 p.m. Eastern, 6
Yeah.
p.m. Pacific. If it's all about dating, we'll be talking to people who are about to go on dates. We'll be downloading some dates in terms of how it went, sending them up with talking next steps, dating app advice. It's a super interactive. It's live. We hope you join us. Check it out. It's going to be super fun. Make sure, if you haven't already, download the app. If you have an Apple phone, it's AMP. Super easy. Check it out, and we hope to see you there, and you'll be hanging out with us live. It'll be a ton of fun.
And if you know you want to call in, feel free to shoot us an email at asknick@theviallfiles.com, so that way we can try to prioritize that. We're so excited to chat with y'all. It's going to be loose and silly.
All right.
loose and silly.
Well, we'll see you all tonight then for Better Date Than Never.
Woo!
Bye.
Bye.